Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the FrostBytez Gaming Experience, Part 33 of the Pokemon Emerald walkthrough. Feels good to get back into recording after being a week away. Apologies for the past week on missing uploads. Had family in for the week, along with having a different schedule at work because I had to get some training in a particular area that I have not worked in just yet. Moving up on that ladder, which may not mean anything because I'll probably end up getting a new job anyways, but we'll see how things go in that front. But because of all that, I did miss the past week of uploading, but now we're back in full swing, along with having to listen to Lombre, I should say, using a lot of dives, because now that we have the ability to use dive, we are capable of going back throughout Route 124 to get all of the hidden items that we were not capable of getting in the first place. But that means we got to hear them every single time we decide to go down there. Whenever you go down into a dive spot, if you see a little dark circle underneath the water, as we are looking at right now, then it is most likely a hidden item that you can go ahead and pick up, along with just some other areas that a hidden item might be at. Because once we go down this particular dive spot, as May calls us to tell us about a green looking Pokemon in the sky. Wonder what that's all about. I don't know, we'll figure it out. But as you can see, once you dive into certain parts of the water, you get these underwater seaweed grass-like deals. Think of being underwater after using dive the same as being on land. You don't run into Pokemon underwater the same way you would when using surf. The only way that you run into the Pokemon is going through those little brushes. And then through those brushes, you have the chance of running into wild Pokemon the same way that you would when walking in wild. So basically, just think of that as tall grass. And when going through those areas in Route 124, let's go over all the stats once again, just in case. If either A, I didn't go over the dive stats to begin with, I'm also going to go through the surf stats again just because it's been a couple parts since we last went through this, or at least it was for me anyways. It was probably just 2 parts ago, not exactly sure. But with that said, when surfing, you have yourself a 60% chance to run into a Tentacool, 35% chance for a Wingull, and 5% chance for a Pelipper. If you are fishing with the old rod, it is a 30% chance for a Tentacool with a 70% chance for a Magikarp, 20% chance for a Tentacool, 60% chance for a Magikarp, and 20% chance for a Whalmer with the good rod, and with the super rod is a 40% chance for a Sharpedo and a 60% chance for a Whalmer. When you use dive and are underwater going through the seaweed tall grass, you have a 30% chance of running into a Chinchou with a 65% chance it's a Clamperl, and a 5% chance it's a Relincanth. And going through those, yes, I did go through what you could and could not run into in the previous part underwater, but again, you know, now that we're capable of using the ability dive, best to go over it. You also need to go through dive in those certain areas, as you can see, because there are shards pretty much all over the areas of route number 124. Now, if you remember, there was that one house that I said earlier, there is a treasure hunter that lives within there. These shards that we're collecting, we give them to the treasure hunter and he will trade it to us for evolutionary stones. I am going to be showcasing getting all the evolutionary stones just so you guys can see what shard gives you what stone, but it should be relatively obvious. The red shard is going to get you the fire stone, the green shard is going to get you the leaf stone, so on and so forth. You know, their colors basically state what it is that they are going to do. And that's really about all that's left to do for Route 124. You know, there's a lot of other areas that once you learn dive, you can go back and explore. And that's basically what we're going to be doing for the next 2 parts anyways. We're going to be doing a lot of exploration, utilizing dive, get to the areas we couldn't really get to before. So we're doing that with this, and we're going to be going back to Route 109, 108, and 107. Which, yeah, it should be like 107, 108, 109, but I start at 109 and work my way backwards because it's it works for splitting the videos this way. It's not going to be all done in this one part. It's going to be done over the next 2 parts. This part's mostly going to be getting all of these items around route number 124 and going through routes 109 and 108, whereas we finish off pretty much route 108 and the abandoned ship at route 108 and route 107. And again, a lot of these, this is why and it's going to be very noticeable because unfortunately the surfing parts of Route 107 through 109 the trainers you go against, all their Pokemon are in the mid-20s level area, and I'm basically hitting, you know, the early 40s, late 30s, early 40s with my Pokemon. Again, it's because once you learn Surf, for most people, your first thought is probably going to be, oh, I'm going to go ahead and do Route 107, you know, 108, 109, all that stuff. Get yourself to that abandoned ship and realize, okay, there's probably something that I'm missing here that I can't do, all that stuff. For me, it was like, I might as well wait till I get dive, because I don't want to go there, do that, and then have to go back later on with dive. I might as well do it all in one go. But because of that, it means that the trainers we're going against aren't really all that tough. You know, I ended up doing it much later than what's really intended for you to do, I should probably say. But that's just kind of the way it is. So again, we're going to be trading out all of our shards to get all of the different evolutionary stones. I'm not going to be using them, obviously, but it's just a means of showing it off, I guess. You know, if the guy has the item, I want to show the items. There you go. Obviously, a normal person would just be like, hey, you know, I'm going to tell you what you can trade this guy for and call it good right there. I don't even need to showcase it. I am a matter of a different breed of human that does everything the exact opposite that makes no sense whatsoever because, I don't know, that's just the way things work. But because of that, Route 124 is done for, and we are going to be traveling our way back to Slateport City and start making our way down to the abandoned ship through Route number 109. Route number 109 has 2 items that you can also pick up. There is a PP up along with, I believe it's another heart scale that is hidden. A couple trainers that are on different parts of the shore. Which is, again, really kind of funny that our trainer doesn't have the ability to utilize his own swimming. We have to surf with a Pokemon to get here. I'm pretty sure it's not that deep of water, and we should be able to swim across. Unless, you know, our clothes are not meant to ever get wet. Considering the fact that we only wear one piece of clothing throughout this whole entire journey. That right now, I believe we started back in April, so this journey has been going on for relatively almost 5 months now, at least 4 months so far, going on our 5th month. And our hero is still wearing the same piece of clothing. I would, you know, so maybe in that case, he's actually not all that wrong. It's probably a good thing that he waits to learn surf and ride his Pokemon, because if he himself decided, hey, I'm going to go ahead and swim in this outfit, and then it gets all shriveled up and gross and whatnot, trying to do the rest of traveling in that kind of wear, I can't imagine it's all that great. So maybe I can't give him too much of a hard time for that. Anyways, because we're going to be utilizing Surf a lot, we're mostly dealing with water-type Pokemon, so Magneton's going to be the way to go for this one. Not going to be all that interesting. It's just a bunch of low-level trainers that we're going to be taking care of and a bunch of items to pick up. And that's really all we're going to be doing for the rest of this part. The abandoned ship's going to be starting up with the next part. And then I believe after all of that, pretty much all the backtracking that we need to do, minus route, what was that again? It's Route 122, I believe. Route 122, 123. No, it's Route 119, I believe. It's the one that has the waterfall. Or is that Route 109? No, I'm on Route 109. What am I talking about? I think it is Route 119. Route 119, Route 120. The same area that you can get yourself a Feebas if you wanted to. Because we need to learn the move Waterfall in order to backtrack with that. Which, God, I'm going to have to go on my way and have Lombre forget how to use probably Strength. Because now that I have Blaziken that already knows how to utilize Strength, I can get Lombre to forget how to use Strength and then teach him Waterfall. Lombre is just going to be my HM bitch, basically, of this whole entire ordeal. Like, the poor guy is going to be used for nothing else. He already has 4 HMs learned, and I'm going to be getting rid of 1 just to give him another HM to learn anyways. And it's not like really Dive or Waterfall are that bad of moves. I just feel like there are better water moves for Milotic to learn instead. You know, Dive is one of those two-turn moves, kind of like Dig. And Waterfall, I believe, has the chance to flinch. And I think it has like 80 damage, too, which is relatively good. I just personally think that Surf is better to have anyways. And again, Dive is a lot like Dig. It's a two-turn move, but it's not that strong of a move, really. At least not that I remember. Let's take a look. What is the power of Dive? If I remember right, I think it's only 60 power. But we all know my memory, so I'm not gonna... I'm gonna take that away. Oh wow, it's actually 80 power. Isn't Dig also 80 power too? I could have sworn Dig was only 60. No, it's 80. Huh. This whole time I thought Dig was actually only 60. But no, it's 80. That's pretty good, actually. That's not that bad. And if I remember right, what can Dive? Because Dig can still get hit by certain ground type moves. Dive can also get hit by something as well. It can be hit underwater if it was targeted by Lock-On or Mind Reader, Sandstorm, Hail, Shadow Sky. Shadow Sky, huh? Okay. Well, interesting. Oh, that's why I thought it was 60. Okay. Apologies. So Dive in Gen 3 does have a base power of 60. It's Gen 4 onwards that it becomes 80. Is that the same with Dig too? Did Dig used to be 60? Oh my god, I did not know Dig had a power of 100 in Gen 1. Oh my god. Yeah, Gens 2 and 3, Dig does have a power of 60, then it moves up to 80. Dig really had a power of 100 in Gen 1? I actually never knew that. Wow, that's actually really busted. Dang. That's basically a two-turn earthquake. My god. Okay, so yeah. So I'm not losing my mind. So Dive in this generation, in the game that I am playing, does have a power of only 60. So again, Surf's going to be much better. And Waterfall in this gen, I believe, still has 80. Could be wrong. Let me see here. Okay, it shows me 80, but what is it on this gen? Okay, so it is 80 all around the board. I thought as much. And... oh, and in Gens 1 through 3, it didn't even have the ability to flinch. That only started in Gen 4. So yeah, there's no reason to not run Surf at the end of the day. Again, the flinching makes more sense, but with it not being until Gen 4, then yeah, that actually kind of sucks. Okay, well, there you go. So that's why we choose Surf over everything else. Even with all my misremembering of everything, at the end of the day, Surf is just stronger. In double battles, it's going to hit 2 Pokemon instead of 1. Sure, maybe not as strong, but at the same time, does that really matter? Not so much. So I'd much rather just have Milotic learn Surf, forget about Waterfall, Dive, all that, let Lombre learn all of it, and teach it some other moves that it can utilize better, in my opinion. But with that stated, we are now in Route 108. No, I don't think we are. I think we're still in Route 109, but we're going to be heading into Route 108. And luckily for us, Route 108 and 107 have the same Pokemon that you can catch. And I also want to say that Route 109 also has the same Pokemon that you can catch as well. But with that stated, when you are surfing, you have a 60% chance to run to a Tentacle with a 35% chance for a Wingull and 5% chance for a Pelipper. And when fishing with the Old Rod, it is a 30% chance for a Tentacle with a 70% chance for a Magikarp. Good Rod gives you a 20% chance for a Tentacle with a 60% chance for a Magikarp, 20% chance for a Whalmer. And with the Super Rod, you have a 100% chance of catching yourself a Whalmer. I do apologize, folks. These summertime colds, they really do get to you. And it's been relatively hot where I live. Now, when I say that, for one thing, trying to go against this trader is a bit of a pain in the ass because he's just not looking at me. I can't say as I blame him. He's just trying to enjoy surf, and I'm the one running into him. So in reality, I'm the asshole here. But yeah, we've where I live, it doesn't really get all that hot. And so when it does get hot, it's like scorching heat for us, really. For most people that live in like Arizona, Texas, Oklahoma, that deal with like the 100-degree weather and whatnot, salutes to you. You're better men than me. But yeah, when it starts hitting around 90, that's extremely hot for us over here. And it's been very mucky heat too. And unfortunately, my body is not exactly used to it just yet, so I've got the summertime sniffles and whatnot. So apologies for that. I'm trying to do it as much away from the microphone as I possibly can. Anyways, so. But on the off turn of that, we're the ones that have to deal with like the negative 40-degree weather over here. Whereas the lowest you guys probably get is like, what, 50, which is like perfect weather for us. Oh boy. So yeah, give and take. Some people have to deal with the extreme heat. Some people have to deal with the extreme cold. I, kind of enjoy the fact that when living here, I don't have to deal with any real natural disasters. Like, no matter how cold it may get here, it's still not as bad as other areas where it completely cuts power. Ours, that rarely ever happens. The only time the power gets cut here is when the ice causes someone to drive off-road and ride into, an electric pole or something like that. Any means of killing our electricity that way. Those things aren't even, I don't even think outside of like people that have to live outside of the city in our town, we don't really have to deal with that much anymore. It's just when a power generator goes out, which in most cases is somebody sliding off road and going into the power generator. Yes, it does happen. Yeah, no, we don't really deal with that with really any natural disasters here. Whenever we get a tornado warning, we'll get our like 70-mile-per-hour winds, 70 plus. I feel bad for people that live. It's like about an hour's drive away from where I'm at. They get it into the hundreds almost regularly because they live in the worst part of the mountain. So they get like 100-mile-per-hour winds probably like once a week. I feel bad for those people. We have maxed out in like the high 90s, but on average, our highest we usually get is around 70, 80 or so. But even then, that's not, it doesn't cause any like kind of hurricanes or tornadoes or anything like that. Our houses are usually pretty safe. So yeah, you know what? In all honesty, this place is relatively small and not with much to do, but it is safe. I'll give it that. I'm still looking forward to one day, being able to afford to live somewhere else. But hey, what can you do, right? I mean, it's a nice enough place. I know, I'm just stalling at this point. We're almost done. We got about a minute left or so. Because we're going to be going against this one trainer, get ourselves one final hidden item in the one rock on like a weird, like, I don't know. Again, it's kind of weird because it's like our character doesn't want to swim, but he's okay with getting his feet wet, which is probably the worst thing you can do is getting wet shoes with wet socks and wet feet, because that's the easiest way to get yourself a cold. Speaking of summertime colds, it's one of the easiest ways to get yourself a cold in general. But he's okay with hopping off his Pokemon to walk in somewhat shallow water in order to get an item that's hidden in a rock or something like that. Like, yeah, it's obvious, you can tell by the sprite. His shoes are definitely getting wet, so he's going to be feeling very sick here. But anyways, with that stated, we're starting to head ourselves into the abandoned ship. And with that, we will be calling it a part right there, ladies and gentlemen. So I hope you enjoy the rest of your evenings, and we will catch you all on the next part.